Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Aha! Cheers! It's Friday night. It's Manchester United versus Spurs at the weekend. The tooth has given up and maybe this is helping, but I don't normally start off with the screen on the left. But I do feel, before we talk about Mourinho's furious reaction to Harry Kane's injury and lots of other things that he said in the press conference, I'm going to get on it like a car bonnet tonight, because the reason I'm going to get on it like a car bonnet is very, very obvious to me. Manchester United are going to beat. We're going to beat Spurs. We're going to beat Spurs. I'm so confident we're going to beat Spurs. I'm going to give you my tip from the off. The download for Quiff is in the link in the video description. This is the app that I have to my left. Basically, the way Quiff works, to Quiff your bets, you put a bet on and it can enhance it. Well, let me just show you the bet I'm going for. This is, if you fancy doubling your money, and it'll be more than that on the Quiff app, go to, download it, get yourself onto football, because that's what we love, Premier League. And then we want to go Manchester United versus Tottenham. Full-time results. Manchester United 1.96. 1.96. So if you put a tenner on Manchester United to win and they win, you'll double it. You'll get 20 quid. But on the Quiff app, it enhances it. It absolutely enhances it. So it might be double. It could go up to like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 1. That's how the Quiff app works. It's bamboozling the betting market at the moment, because you put a bet on and then it just automatically sort of enhances that bet. It's random. You might get 2 to 1 to 3 to 1. You might get 2 to 1 up to 5 to 1. But my tip of the day, or of the evening if you're watching, is Manchester United to beat Spurs. That's it. And their end of the lesson, and you'll double your money. You can't normally double your money with Manchester United at Old Trafford. Tenner wins you 20 quid. 20 quid wins you 40 quid. You'll win more than that through the Quiff app, because it will quiff your bets. Link in the video description. Get it downloaded. Get the bet on. I tell you what, I'm convinced we're going to win this game tomorrow night, tomorrow lunchtime, against Tottenham. Harry Kane is out. I was dubious and still am slightly dubious about Harry Kane being out of this game, because I think Pochettino sort of in a way looks up to Mourinho, and I just think it's I still even think it's a smokescreen. When it came out on Sky Sports and Spurs put it out on their Twitter, and it was quite nice, it was quite vague. Oh, Harry Kane on Monday had a test. He has got a slight hamstring injury, and that for me is not enough. Sky Sports say it. My gran could say it. It doesn't matter. When BBC say it, that's when I thought, And BBC, if you go on their website, it pretty much just say, well, it says Harry Kane out of the Manchester United game. So it's safe to assume Harry Kane's out. But let me just say, me personally, and I don't know about you lot, me personally, I still think Harry Kane, it wouldn't shock me if he plays tomorrow. To be honest, in raw reality, he's out of the game. But it will not shock me if he's playing tomorrow. That's all I'm going to say. But he probably is out. I think there's a very good chance that he won't play. But it wouldn't surprise me if it was all a big smoke screen. And Mourinho wasn't very happy about it when it was put to him. He basically was like, I'm not talking about Harry Kane's injury, because if I talk about Harry Kane's injury, I've got to talk about Zlatan's injury, about Pogba's injury, about Fellaini's injury. And you know what? I don't actually think Mourinho's happy that Harry Kane's out. And I've got a theory on this, and I don't know what you think. And to be honest, I sort of agree with Mourinho on it, because Harry Kane has never, ever, ever done well at Old Trafford. I know this season he's different, and he's playing against the big teams and he's doing well, but he never does well against Manchester United at Old Trafford. So I wasn't particularly worried about Harry Kane yesterday anyway. But I think that the reason Mourinho is frustrated that Harry Kane's out is because it gives Spurs an excuse if they lose, and if they beat us, it makes it even more of an embarrassing defeat, because they haven't got Harry Kane. So if Spurs turn up tomorrow and plays off the park and beat us without Harry Kane, it's more of a rod for them to hit Mourinho. So I totally understand why Mourinho was frustrated about it. Also, Harry Kane never normally plays well at Old Trafford, and to be honest, Spurs are a good team without Harry Kane. So Mourinho sort of loses his excuse as well. If we got beat tomorrow, he could feed it out, or we ain't got Pogba, we ain't got Fellaini, or whatever else excuse he wants to throw out. But Spurs can throw out, yeah, we didn't have Harry Kane, you had Lukaku. And I think it presents more problems for Mourinho than it does favours for maybe as the fans. We're thinking, well, they ain't got Harry Kane, it makes a good chance for us. And to be honest, I have watched a bit of Spurs this year, in the Champions League mainly, and Eriksen's very good, Dele Alli's very good, their defensive line is very good, their keeper's very good, Dembele's back and he always plays well against us. Llorente is a good Premier League striker, as he proved at Swansea. I don't really think Harry Kane being out blunts Spurs that much. It certainly disadvantages them a bit, but they're a good side, and I think that's where Mourinho's frustration sort of came from today. That he was, you know, I don't think it does. I think it, in some ways, it puts more pressure on us. It puts more expectation on us. Some people are saying we're favourites now. Well, we should always be favourites at Old Trafford. Anyway, we can come back to that and take your questions as we normally do. Apparently, we've hit 144,000 subscribers. Not according to my screen. It's 143,997. So subscribe if you're new, and we will hit it. And do drop a like on the video. But I do think Manchester United are going to win. I've been saying that all week. I think Manchester United are going to win. I cannot wait for the game. The weekend's here. No work. Finished. Bang. Let's have another sip of this stuff. It's only apple juice. Ooh, apple juice. But I'm having a party on my own here. But I do think Manchester United are going to win. And it's medicinal anyway. I've got toothache. Apple juice. But I do think Manchester United are going to win. I've said it all week. I think we're going to win because I think Mourinho is going to approach it like Chelsea back in April. I think he's got a plan to win this game. And I think, effectively, Manchester United, Mourinho plan, and the players play at their optimum, and they're up for it because the crowd will be up for it and we'll win that game. The only concern we should have is if the players don't perform like they didn't against Huddersfield, I think Spurs will beat us. But I expect the players to turn up tomorrow. And I think if we don't win, Flex is up the game doing the fan cams. There'll be fans obviously giving their opinion. I'll be doing my match reaction. We'll be live at 11:30 with the team news and the watch along all the way through till full time. I think if we don't win, it will be down to the players, because you should not need enough of an incentive to play Spurs in a game we need to win to keep touch with City at home at Old Trafford. Every player should be up for it. If we are up for it, we should beat them, because Spurs are a good team, but I still think we're better when everything works. The big problem for United, and we all know what it is, we've been discussing it for a couple of weeks now, Lukaku shouldn't get any criticism. It's the number 10. They've got to feed Lukaku. And personally, I'd play Mata there. I don't think Mourinho will play Mata there, so I'd go Mkhitaryan, because Mkhitaryan is better than Lingard. As bad as Mkhitaryan's been this season, he's better than Lingard, and he scored against Spurs last week. Darian Jones has made a contribution. He says, if Llorente plays instead, Spurs will bang crosses in all day. We may need to play Smalling to cope with him. Really looking forward to the game. I'm absolutely ecstatic about this game. I'm so excited. After the game tomorrow, if we lose or draw, I'll be very, very angry. But this is why I love football. At this moment in time, I'm sure you're all feeling the same. This is why I love football. You know, if we lose tomorrow or we draw, that's catastrophic. But as of now, the anticipation, a big game. If we're at home to someone like Crystal Palace, we expect to win. Tomorrow, we're playing a very informed team, a very good team, but we're at home. We want to be progressing under Mourinho. We need to win. We don't know what the result is tomorrow. We can all predict, oh, we're going to win, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We're not going to turn up, we're going to park the bus, Spurs are going to dominate us, we'll win it, whatever. We don't know. It's one of those games where we just don't know what's going to happen. And that is why we love football. I can't wait. This is the sort of football game I want. I don't want to see United playing Crystal Palace every week and winning 4-0. I want Manchester United to play good teams and excite me and win it. And I'm very, very excited with you, Darian, as well. So thanks for the contribution. Bay's back tomorrow. So we're talking about the crosses coming into the back. Bay's back tomorrow. I think it will be Bay and Jones. I think Smalling's a fantastic. I thought Smalling was brilliant on the US tour. I'm a big fan of Smalling. I think he's very good in the air. Smalling's got an outside chance of playing. It depends on injury. It depends how much he wants to risk Bailly, because I think Jones will play. But I'm happy with Bay and Jones. I'm happy for Jones. I'm happy for Jones and Smalling. I'm happy for Bay and Smalling. As long as it's two of those three, I'm happy, and I think they can deal. I think they could have dealt with Kane. I think Bailly would have dealt with Kane anyway. So Llorente's a good striker. My main concern about United is the midfield, because Dele Alli, Dia, and Eriksen especially, I've been very impressed with him. Width-wise, I'm not worried. Play Ashley on the left, play Valencia on the right, and I think that's where we can cause them problems. I'm not worried about Spurs down the flanks. It's the midfield. It's Matic, it's Herrera, and it's whoever he plays with them. They're going to have to work bloody hard. I mean, part of me thinks, should we chuck Phil Jones in there and Herrera and Matic and just absolutely battle them in the midfield and play Smalling with Bailly as a centre-back. I know it's a bit left field, but why not? Will we go 3-5-2? I think we're in for a shock tomorrow with the team. I think we're in for a shock with the formation. I'm not going to react to the team selections at all, because when we got the Chelsea one, when I was at the game in April, I was like, what a rubbish team that is. And then it was a game plan. It was like Herrera man marking somebody. It was Lingard and Rashford up front. And it worked to a T. So I'm not going to react badly to the team news tomorrow. I'm going to trust in Mourinho and we'll react to it at like 2 o'clock when the result's in. Talking about Eric Dyer and Matic. Again, Spurs, obviously. Spurs United link. That's what it's all about. Mourinho was asked about it. And he said, well, Matic... I got the player I want and I got the player I didn't think I could get, which is Matic, alluding to, was Eric Dyer your first choice? I personally think Eric Dyer was our first choice. I've heard it from a number of people. We wanted to get Eric Dyer for 50 million and Spurs wanted 60, and that is pretty much what I've been told, and I think that's probably the truth. But to be honest, Matic has been a fantastic signing, and Mourinho is right to say what he said. I wanted Matic over Dyer. I suspect we wanted Dyer over Matic, but there's numerous reasons for that. English, younger, more mobile. But Matic is a very good player for Manchester United. Even I have, you know, he's not the player he was at Chelsea last year. He's been fantastic. But my worry about Matic is, in relation to the game tomorrow, because that's what it's all about, is Matic was really good when he started, but he's 29, and I think because of Fellaini's injury, because of Pogba's injury, because of Carrick's injury, he's had to play more games than Mourinho wanted him to. And I think in the last couple of games, especially against Huddersfield, he's looked tired, and that is costing us a bit, because Matic was very, very dominant, but he does look tired at the moment, and tomorrow he's going to get run around a lot. So we need the crowd will give us the adrenaline tomorrow, and I think the crowd will play a massive, massive part. Luke Shaw, obviously, is a big, big topic point at the moment. Look, we retracted a tweet off the United Stand Twitter account this morning. I messaged and said, take that down, because it was based on a quote where Luke Shaw said, I really like Pochettino and I really hope I play for him again at some point in my career. That tweet went up. It was not a negative reaction. Then people were saying it was fake news. It was like a couple of years ago that Luke Shaw said it. So we took it down. And then Mourinho quoted it in his press conference this afternoon. He said, look, I've got no problem with Luke Shaw because he's telling the truth. I get fed up with players who leave a manager they were successful under and say, I love this new manager and I hate the old one. And he's referring to Chelsea players, obviously, because he did a lot for those Chelsea players and they sort of threw him under the bus, got him the sack, and now we love Conte now. So I agree with Mourinho on that. And he was quite complimentary about Luke Shaw, saying, look, I ain't got a problem with him talking about a manager he's played under before, who he likes. And I thought that was a breath of fresh air from Mourinho, because a lot of people were like, oh, that's the end of Luke Shaw, he's digging out Mourinho. Maybe he is, but Mourinho's reaction to it was very, very mature. But there was a negative to the Luke Shaw comments from Mourinho, where he said, look, Luke Shaw needs 5 or 6 games to get some consistency and rhythm. I can't give him that. I've got 2 left backs better than him at the moment. That's a worrying statement, because he's talking about Ashley Young and Daley Blind, or maybe Darmian, and Luke Shaw's better than all of those. But if he can't give Luke Shaw those games to get him in the team, then Luke Shaw's future looks more or less over. But Mourinho was quite positive and said he's working really hard, and who knows what opportunities will present themselves. I think in relation to Luke Shaw, pretty much all his managers, whether it's been Van Gaal, the England managers, he's got a problem with fitness and attitude. And I don't think it's attitude that he comes in, you know, telling people to F off and stuff like that. He doesn't appear to be that sort of lad. I think it's something to do with, like, they think he carries too much weight or something, which could be totally genetic or anything like that. I'm a big Luke Shaw fan. I think he could be our left back for the next 10 years. I think he's talented. I think he's exactly what we need at left back. Somebody who can go forward, is fast, is skillful, but is also, you know, defensively sound as well. It stuns me because left back is a big problem for United, and it has been pretty much since the days Patrice Evra left. So I'm stunned by the fact that Mourinho says I can't give him the games to make him a first team player because I've got 2 better left backs. Well, I'm sorry, Jose, big fan of yours, but you haven't. Daley Blind's not better than Luke Shaw at his best. Ashley Young can't defend, he's good going forward, and Darmian's a right back. So we still need to solve that left back problem. Mourinho is the manager. If Mourinho is thinking, well, Danny Rose is the solution, then ultimately I want the best for Manchester United. It doesn't look like Mourinho is going to use Luke Shaw, so let's get Danny Rose in and let's sort the left-back problem out. And in fact, Big Fat says Shaw out, Rose in. I don't agree with it. I think Luke Shaw to Spurs, I think Pochettino will turn him into a brilliant left-back and we'll be like, why didn't that happen? And that's Mourinho's risk. Danny Rose is a good left-back, and if he thinks he's the left-back that he wants, let's get him in. But Blind, Young, Darmian are not the left-backs we need. We need somebody like a Luke Shaw, and if it's not going to be Luke Shaw, we need a Danny Rose. Let's get it sorted. That's what I think. Kieran Byrne says Shaw will be on loan in January. I've covered all my points. I'm going to take Sammy your questions. A. Allen says Shaw's a complete fraud to United. Personally, I don't like that sort of comment. If you think that, that's your opinion. If other people think that, that's fine. I don't really understand why Luke Shaw gets thrown under the bus. You don't know him. You don't know what his attitude is on the football pitch. You don't know what his attitude in his training. It's speculation and myth, and you are making up your decision on Luke Shaw based on myth. I like Luke Shaw. I've seen Luke Shaw at his best. I agreed with the signing, and I hope he can become the player I think he is. And I think he will become that player if he goes elsewhere. I think people who dislike Luke Shaw or try to make out that he doesn't care about United or anything like that, one, you clearly don't follow him on Twitter, and two, I think it's totally unfounded. It's very similar to the nonsense that was going round last year that Martial doesn't like United and he's got a bad attitude. It's myth. It's myth. It's total myth. Luke Shaw might not work out at Manchester United, but this is a lad who was playing really well for us and had his leg snapped in two. He had a very bad injury, and if he never comes back from that injury, it won't surprise me, because injuries like that can finish your career. Psychologically, mentally, whatever, it can finish your career. If Luke Shaw gets back, I applaud the lad. I like him. I think he's a very good left back, but I've always said all along, Luke Shaw is not about attitude. If he fails, I think it's to do with how he reacts to that injury, and his attitude can be brilliant. But if you break your leg, you can end up with injuries to your right. If you break your left leg, this is just how the human body works. You can end up with hamstring injuries in your right leg, knee injuries, ankle injuries, because your other leg supports the other leg that's been injured, and then you've got overweight, and that's what happens. So I don't agree with Luke Shaw getting criticism from United fans, because I don't think he deserves it. But I think we are getting to that point now, sadly, where Luke Shaw might not end up being a Manchester United player. And if that's to happen, I'd rather he went off and built his career elsewhere, and I wish him the best of luck, and we get a proper left back in. Because my concern is Ashley Young, Darmian, Daley Blind are not good enough. They're not good enough left backs for us to win the title. They're great squad players, but we need better. For me, it's always been Luke Shaw. If it's not going to be him, let's move him on. Let's get somebody else in. Ashwari Nipan says, Jose said he needs 5 games to make mistakes and correct them. Are we really going to afford to lose those games like last year against Watford? Yeah, you know, I love Mourinho. Everyone knows I love Mourinho. And to be honest, his comments are pretty fair. You know, maybe Luke Shaw does need 4 or 5 games, a bit like Rooney when he used to come back from injury to get his match fitness and get everything ready. And actually, can we afford to do that at the moment? Well, you know, I actually think if Mourinho thought highly enough of him, he would do it. Because Paul Pogba's not going to come back and be Paul Pogba from August. As soon as Pogba's match fit, Mourinho will play him because he's a great player, and it will take him 3 or 4 games, and we'll all be going, Pogba's going to need 3 or 4 games to get back to his best. It's only the same thing about Luke Shaw, but the difference is Mourinho doesn't want to play Luke Shaw. You know, any player who's been injured is going to take a few games to get back. It's not rocket science, it's not new news. He just doesn't want to do it with Luke Shaw. Like I say, if it's Zlatan, Pogba, Rojo, he will do it because he wants those players in his team. He doesn't want Luke Shaw in his team. But that's not enough for me to start slagging Luke Shaw off. I don't think that's the way to go with it at all. I like Luke Shaw. I think he's a good player. I just don't, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out with a manager. And it could be as simple as Mourinho doesn't like him because he chose United over Chelsea when he was at Chelsea. I do not know. But I don't think Luke Shaw deserves the criticism that he gets from some United fans. Paul Lucas says, when you're afraid of getting injuries, that's when you get injured. I agree. He had a very bad injury. I was watching that game like a lot of you. He had a lot of injuries, and some people don't recover psychologically and physically. It can mess you up. Fresh King SG, do you think Luke Shaw can be a left wing option? No, I don't expect him to even be on the bench tomorrow. I know what you're alluding to. I've heard people say before, could Luke Shaw become a sort of Gareth Bale sort of player? Well, I think yes, he could, but I just don't think Mourinho fancies him, to be honest. let's pull it back. We've spoke about Luke Shaw long enough. We spoke obviously about Kane's injury. We spoke about Matic. We spoke about Mourinho. I mean, one thing I would say about Mourinho, and I don't know what you lot think about this. Speaking to Drawty, you can follow him on Twitter, Drawty Devil, big part of the United Stand and what we've been all about. And he was saying, look, Mourinho's so miserable. His press conference is so negative. Oh, I'm not going to talk about this, Luke Shaw, that. I'm not talking about this, that and the other. Where's the special one? Where's the humour gone? And I don't really think that Mourinho's been like that in his time at Manchester United. I don't think I've ever really seen Mourinho embrace the position of the press or anything like that. It's always like he's chewing a wasp or something, which is not necessarily a bad thing because Sir Alex Ferguson used to be like that. But, you know, personally, I think a lot of Mourinho, as everybody knows, and I want him to be Manchester United manager. But I love Manchester United more than any player or manager. And I actually want Mourinho to love the club like I love the club. And I know that's impossible because he doesn't support Manchester United. But I don't... What concerns me about Mourinho is, and I know he's a winner and he wants to achieve, so I'm not saying he's like, well, he can't be arsed or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. Mourinho, look, I said it when we got Mourinho, and I like Mourinho. Mourinho is about Mourinho. Mourinho is brand Mourinho. Mourinho wants to be better than all the managers. He wants his record to be better than everybody, and that's brilliant because if he's managing your club, your quid's in. But I don't know whether he loves... I don't even think it's Manchester United. I don't know whether he's lost the love of football, whether it's the British press, whether he's tired of it, whether it's a harder job than he thought, whether living in a hotel's not great, whether the players aren't responding to him. But I just feel that Mourinho, it is a job, and it's a hard job, and he doesn't seem to be enjoying it, and that worries me. As I said, tomorrow against Spurs is pivotal. I think if United win tomorrow and they put in a good performance, hopefully we'll start to, you know, Mourinho will start to relax a bit. He'll start to enjoy it more. And I know he's under a lot of pressure because it's the most pressurised job in football. I mean, Liverpool got smashed by Spurs last weekend. They're mid-table and the press isn't talking about them at all. It's always United. If we lose tomorrow, we'll still be in third position, no matter what. If we lose tomorrow, we're still third. But it'll be the end of the world. It'll be Mourinho's finished, this, that and the other. And that's the pressure Mourinho gets, and especially when you combine it with Manchester United, it is very, very difficult for him. But I want to see Mourinho happy because I think that will feed into the fans, it will feed into the club. You're at the biggest club in the world, Jose, and you can do it. I believe in you. I think you can do it. I know it's a hard job, but I do believe you can do it. And you know, most of us want you to do it, and we want you to enjoy doing it, and we want you to be passionate. We want you to kick a bottle, because if the FA ban you, we'll back you. And I think that's what we want to see from Mourinho. At the moment, it just seems to be a bit of a defeatist edge to him, and that's not Mourinho. Mourinho at his best is all gunning, fighting, you know, subtlety undermining the opposition manager, passionate, you know. At the moment, he just seems a bit defeated, and tomorrow I just think is massive for Manchester United. I think, you know, watch along, team news at 11:30, live all the way through the game, and then after the game, match reactions and fan cams. And I think that's the most important thing, because if we lose tomorrow, City are going to beat West Brom away from home. You know, I live in the Midlands. West Brom, you know, everyone goes all pewless, they'll get a 0-0 draw. They're terrible at the moment. West Brom are really struggling, and they've never been good at scoring goals. City will win tomorrow, and I think they'll win quite well. So if we lose tomorrow, we'll be 8 points behind City, which is massive. It's massive. So we've got to win tomorrow, and the reaction to the result if we lose will be bad. It will be bad. You know, whatever result happens tomorrow, if we were to lose, will be a bad reaction from fans, because I think Liverpool, we sort of accepted the approach to that. Huddersfield, we were frustrated, but we took it as an isolation one game. Lose tomorrow at home to Spurs, who we're meant to be competitive with, and it will, you know, it's not Mourinho outstage, but it will be frustration and, you know, probably fair play. So it's very, very big tomorrow. We need to win the game. If we win it, I think, you know, we're probably still 5 points behind City because they'll beat West Brom, but we go to the Chelsea game, hopefully get Pogba back, and we're like, you know, maybe we eke out a result there, international break, and then we build from that again. But it's so big tomorrow. It's so big. I'm very excited about it, but I'm not scared about it. I'm not scared about it. I'm expecting a big result from United tomorrow, but I'm not scared about it. I'm excited about it, but I'm not naive to the fact that we could face a bad result tomorrow, even though I expect a good result. So I think we're going to win. I do think we're going to win. And maybe people say you're naive, but I think we're going to win because I think Mourinho's will. The one thing I'll guarantee you is Mourinho will send the team out with the right tactics to win the game. What we don't know is whether the players will perform to the level they need to win the game. Huddersfield, they didn't. And what we also don't know is whether Mourinho selects the right players. I am not going to go as far as to say Lingard shouldn't play as number 10 tomorrow. I personally think it should be Mata or Mkhitaryan. Lingard could play tomorrow and play really well. So if he does, great. I'm not going to talk about the team selection tomorrow until full time because it's on Mourinho, isn't it? And I trust in him. Samuel R says they better not bottle against the bottlers. Spurs have been bad up north against the bigger teams in the past, I agree. Eshwari Nipan says, if you want real Jose, Edward has to offer players he wants. Then he made United like he made Real Madrid. Counter-attacker. Most existing players are not good enough. Thanks for the contribution, Eshwari Nipan. Let me just knock this back for those who are late joiners. The link is in the video description for Quiff. The way Quiff works, I don't want to close it. Let me go back there. So the way Quiff works is whatever bet you put on, your bet will get quiffed. It will enhance your bet. So if you put a bet on at 2-1, they might quiff it up to 3-1 or 10-1. You don't know. It's randomised. But my tip for you tomorrow, the link is in the video description. Get yourself signed up. Manchester United to win the game. So what you need to do is get yourself signed up. Go to the link in the video description. We don't want to do that. We want to go... Oh, what have I done? Quiff. You all know my pin now. Go to Premier League. Premier League. Where is the Premier League? Where is us? Football. Premier League. Manchester United versus Tottenham. I'm going full-time result. 1.96 decimal, which basically means if you put a tenner on, you'll get £19.60 back. But you'll get way more than that because it will get quiffed when you put the bet on. And it could go up to, you might win 30 quid, 40 quid, 50 quid, 60 quid. That's how the Quiff app works. So link in the video description. It's very, very rare that you can double your money on a Manchester United win at home. And I'm convinced United are going to win tomorrow. Because if we don't win tomorrow, I think it's massive for our season. We've got to win tomorrow. Draw's no good. City will be 7 points ahead of us after they beat West Brom, which is 2 clear results. Well, it's 3 results, isn't it? We need them to lose twice and draw one just to get level with them. So we've got to win tomorrow. 100% we've got to win tomorrow. I think we are going to win tomorrow. 1.96. Double your money through the Quiff app. Link in the video description. Remember, you've got to be over 18 and gamble responsibly. But I think that's money in the bank, and I'm backing United to win. Yeah, I'm a United fan. We're all United fans, and I think we can win this. We're Manchester United at home to Spurs. Whoopie-doo, Spurs are playing really well at the moment. We're Manchester United at Old Trafford. We're going to win. We'll win it. We'll win it. I'm confident of it. Let's take some of your comments. Spurs are a good team with Kane or without him, says Samuel Pinzer. Yeah, I don't think the Harry Kane being out, I said it at the start of the video, I understand why Mourinho is actually quite frustrated. I don't think Harry Kane being out is... You know, I think it allows Spurs an excuse. If we get beat tomorrow without Harry Kane, if they beat us tomorrow without Harry Kane, the press will have even more fuel. Mourinho can't use the haven't got Pogba excuse because they haven't got Kane. So it puts a bit more pressure on him. I think if Kane was playing tomorrow, he's got that whole I've got no Pogba. They're going to say we've got no Kane. The press are going to say that. The fans are going to say that. So it puts more pressure onto Mourinho. So I understand why he refused to speak about it, because actually it makes it a little bit different. Chad Sproul says, Mark, could Kane being ruled out cause the United players to be incompetent and maybe get too comfortable? I would hope not, Chad, because actually Spurs are not all about Harry Kane. Spurs are about a very, very good defence. I mean, Spurs could come tomorrow and get a clean sheet. That's my concern. They've got a very, very good defence. And they've got a good midfield as well. They're a good side. And tactically, they're very well set up because Pochettino's a good manager. It's a tough opposition. But, you know, the more I talk about how good Spurs are, you know what happens to me? The more excited I get. The more determined I get. The more I feel, let's bring it on, let's do it. That's what the players have got to do, because the fans, we're the fans, we're going to do that. We're going to be, come on, let's bloody give it to them. Let's have some, let's have it. Come on, head to head, let's go for it. The players have got to do that. If the United players come out with that attitude tomorrow, we'll win the game. Because we feel like that. I'm not scared of Spurs. Bring it on. Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea. When you come to Old Trafford, I don't care how good you are, I don't care what your form is, let's have it. Come on, bring it on. Because we'll go toe to toe with you and we'll beat you. But that's how us, the fans, feel. The players have got to do that tomorrow. I don't think whatever happens tomorrow, unless Mourinho does something really stupid around tactics and who he selects, which I don't think he will, it's on the players tomorrow. The players have got to turn up. And I think if the players turn up, the crowd will turn up anyway and we'll win that game. I think we're going to win it. I think 2-0, Manchester United are going to win this game. And to be honest with you, the worst result is a draw. The worst result is a win. But for me, I'm not even going to say like, oh, if it's the best game in the Premier League's ever seen and it finishes 4-4, I'll just sit back and go, oh, that's great. I don't think a point's good enough tomorrow. The reason a point's no good tomorrow, and I won't be happy with a point no matter how well we play, is because we blew the right of taking a point against Spurs when we lost to Huddersfield last week and we played for a draw at Liverpool. That means we've got to beat Spurs tomorrow, because it's not just about what we did at Liverpool, play for a draw, losing at Huddersfield. Chelsea next week means we've, as well as drawing at Liverpool, as well as losing to Huddersfield, that's why we've got to beat Spurs. We can't afford to draw because we've dropped too many points in the last 2 games. But also, we've got Chelsea next week. Chelsea next week also dictates that we've got to beat Spurs because we don't know what's going to happen at Chelsea. Because Chelsea, with the best we can hope for, might be a draw. We don't win there very often. So we've got to beat Spurs. Because otherwise, imagine it. Draw with Liverpool, lose to Huddersfield, draw tomorrow, draw at Chelsea. 3 points from 12. We may as well have lost 3 and won 1. That's what I mean. We've got to get a win. And it's got to be tomorrow. I don't know whether Twansibi will be on the bench. MS Charlie 08, to be honest. I don't think he will be, but we'll have to wait and see. Right. Thanks everybody for joining me. Cheers. Don't forget to drop a like on the video description. Get your bet on through the Quip app. And thanks to Quip for your support for the United stand. And the preferential odds on Manchester United win the game, 1.96. Effectively, you'll double your money with the Quip app because it will boost your bet anyway. Make sure you get a United bet on because I'm fully behind United tomorrow. Link in the video description for that. Don't forget to drop a like. Thanks for everybody who subscribed to the channel. We're hovering around 144,000 subscribers at the moment, which is great. We'll be live again tomorrow at 11:30 with the team news and the watch along right the way through full time. So make sure you join us for that. If you want to see more of me, I'm now going to be ending this stream and then I'm going on to That's Football, which is our other generic football channel. And I'm going to be doing the Premier League preview on there. I will be talking a bit more about United and Spurs because the title is Harry Kane out injured. But we'll also be talking about the other Premier League games and giving our predictions on those as well. So if you have subscribed to That's Football, get over to That's Football. If you haven't, just type in That's Football. The stream's there, it's waiting me, and I'll be there in about 60 seconds time. But thanks everyone for watching me tonight. Can't wait for the game tomorrow. Massive day. I'll be live at 11:30 with the team news right the way through till full time. Match reaction, and then Flex is up at Old Trafford doing the fan cams. And I think whatever happens, those fan cams are going to be big because we either win and we're ecstatic. Any other result, I think people are going to be annoyed. So big day for United tomorrow. I would just hedge your bets and enjoy tonight. Tomorrow night will be fantastic if we win, but it could be a disaster. So enjoy tonight is what I say. Join me on That's Football if you want to. Thanks everybody on the live comments. You're all fantastic as you well know. Drop a like on the video. Support the United stand. Lots going on as you know, but really couldn't do it without you. So I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching. Join me on That's Football if you want. Get the whiskey.